Hi, my name is Viktorija. Welcome to my channel. Today I will be reading a bedtime story. It's a ballet book, and I'm going to be reading Sleeping Beauty. Let's start. Once upon a time in a magical fairy kingdom, a beautiful baby daughter was born to the wise and noble King Frederick III and his delightful wife Queen Wilhelmina. Just as the sun was rising over the horizon. To celebrate the arrival of Princess Aurora, for that it was they called her. The king and queen decided to hold the biggest party ever. They sent out messengers inviting everyone in the kingdom, children and grown-ups, fairies and ordinary people like you and me. Most unfortunately, they forgot to invite one person, the wicked and bad-tempered fairy, Carol, boss of all the people to forget. She was very, very upset. The other fairies came to the celebrations with their best party wings. The fairies cast wonderful spells over the princess so she would be happy, beautiful, and lucky. But as everyone danced, there was suddenly a loud thunderclap, and the sky went black, and all the guests froze with fear. A beautiful fairy dressed in shimmering dark robe with dark fairy rings stood angrily in the middle of the crowd. She removed her mask, and everyone saw it was the wicked fairy Caraboss, who had come in disguise. She glared at the king and queen and shrieked, I wasn't invited to the party. The king hurried to apologize, but she was still furious. I am going to cast one of my most wicked spells on your darling, princess. Tremble in your royal boots and be very afraid. Princess Aurora will grow into a fine young woman, only to prick her finger on her 16th birthday and die. Ha ha ha. And with an evil laugh she vanished. There was a terrible silence until, fortunately, the good lilac fairy stepped forward and gathered all her strength to save the poor princess. She cast another spell after pricking her finger. Aurora would die but would fall into a deep sleep for 100 years. The king and queen thanked Lilac Fairy from the bottom of their hearts, and the celebration continued late into the night. From that night on, the king banished all sharp objects from the kingdom so his beloved daughter would never prick her finger. 16 years later, Princess Aurora had indeed become a fine young woman, and the family was again celebrating her birthday. There was heavy security on the night of her party, but the wicked fairy had disguised herself as a beautiful seamstress and pretended the princess with a richly woven tapestry. Delighted by its beauty, she touched it, and as she held it, she pricked her finger on a needle that Caraboss had hidden in it. The evil fairy crackled, ha ha ha, and vanished again. Luckily, Lilac Fairy appeared and made sure Princess Aurora fell asleep. Then she cast a spell on the entire royal family and court, so they all fell into a deep sleep too. As they slept, a forest slowly grew around the castle. 100 years later, a handsome prince named Florimund was hunting with his friends in a dark forest. They were enjoying themselves, but the prince was feeling sad and wandered off alone. Lilac Fairy saw him and went to talk to him. He confided in her that he was lonely and his heart was pinning for someone to love. Clever Lilac Fairy knew just what to do. She showed him a picture of Princess Aurora, and of course he fell deeply in love with her. Florimund set off at once to the castle to rescue her. The going was tough enough. The thick dark forest filled with mud and wild animals, but eventually he made it. Just as the prince stepped through the castle gates, the evil Caraboss appeared and blocked his path. Ha ha ha, she laughed. Prince Florimund, you aren't strong enough to overcome my spell. Well, we'll see about that, said Florimund. Well, with quiet determination, they fought a fierce battle, but finally the prince overpowered her and locked her in a castle dungeon. He raced to the top of the castle to find Aurora. He knew that he had to kiss her to break the spell. When his lips finally touched hers, the spell was broken and Caraboss was defeated at last. Princess Aurora and her family woke up from their deep sleep. With the doves of the forest gently cooing and with her parents' blessing, Aurora accepted Prince Florimund's proposal of marriage. The castle was filled with joy and laughter, and everyone busily prepared of the wedding of the millennium. The whole kingdom came to celebrate this joyful occasion, and there was much dancing and merrymaking. And as in every great fairy tale, Prince Florimund and Princess Aurora sealed their love with a kiss and lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed this story. Subscribe, comment down below and share. Goodbye!